In the second of our programmes on Spisks, we'll take a critical look at 4 more common riskations. Our first riskation results from distraction. Our action. This is being driven by a trainee. Sitting alongside him is a driver instructor whose job it is to supervise the trainee's performance and give super where necessary. However, the instructor has just started to explain a tech matter concerning the machine system. This is not really appropriate, particularly as they are approaching a single yellow aspect. The trainee driver is trying to drive, but is clearly distracted by the instructor. Shortly after passing the yellow signal, the instructor's lengthy explanation is interrupted by a mobile phone ringing. It's his. As the guy answers his call, the trainer sees the dangers ahead. He makes an emergency brake application, but it's late. Now, the primary cause of this SPAD was distraction, caused by the driver instructor's inappropriate explanation. Your company's instructions on cab etiquette make it quite clear that any person riding the driver should not discuss any issues when running under cautionary signals or approaching a danger signal. Of course, the DI would have every right to give the trainee verbal instructions on handling the train in these circumstances, but he shouldn't have been discussing issues. A second distraction was caused by the mobile phone. If you're riding with any driver, and particularly if you're acting as an instructor, your mobile phone should be switched off. Other minor distractions, which may seem almost irrelevant, can easily be a risk. Distractions like simply taking a sandwich from your bag. The third factor in this unfortunate incident was one of familiarity. The DI was familiar with both the route and the train, and as a result took his eye off. The trainer was familiar with the DI and trusted him to give proper instructions on the danger signal ahead. This driver is large. Because of the tracks, there are a number of signals on the tree ahead. To add to the potential fusion, the approach is on a right-hand curve. The driver has the shark under control when a signal on the tree ahead clears to a single yellow with route indication 5. Power. At a speed of about 50 miles per hour, a train suddenly on the near side track. But wait a minute, power. Oh, that signal was off. And now he realises an emergency brake application brings his train to a stop in the signal up, and a potential collision is avoided, but it could have had disastrous results. The cause of this SPAD is what's known as a lead. The driver took a signal to be his own. And to eliminate this kind of spisk requires a certain cautiousness on the part of the driver. At complex multi-track applications like the approaches to big terminus stations, be aware of the danger of taking a signal to be yours when in fact it is. If you're not absolutely sure, draw the signal. As you get closer, be prepared to stop. It will become obvious which signal is actually yours. The basic defense here isn't to make assumptions. Be absolutely sure. Drivers understand that they have a duty to run their trains where possible. However, some of us, especially in dense traffic areas, get into the habit of chasing It's a practice that's fraught with risk. This driver is running at speed under cautionary signals. He figures that the train up ahead is also running at speed and will keep doing so. The signals will be ahead, so he'll keep going. But what happens when that train up ahead has forgotten about our train? The signal ahead hasn't dropped off now, and we're travelling too fast to stop at it. If you chase ASP one day, this will happen to you. The train up ahead will unexpectedly slow down, or the signaller will hold a signal at danger for a conflicting move. Either way, you'll find yourself running too fast to stop in the distance left to you. Chasing or anticipating that a danger signal ahead will clear in time is an example of bad trade technique. It's hard and will lead you into trouble. Take a look at your company's defensive driving instructions and follow the advice. The ongoing programme of renewing and modernising the railway means that drivers have to cope with frequent changes in infrastructure and signalling, and such changes always present risks due to unfamiliarity. To ensure that you're aware of the infrastructure, full details are published in the weekly and periodic operating notices. While major alterations to track layout and signalling are also covered in the published schematics with the familiar yellow covers. In addition to the public notices, you may be briefed on all significant change iterations to the signalling and infrastructure by a driver standards manager. These briefings might take the form of a simple chat about the changes, or they might include full audio-visual presentations. Sometimes, in the case of major schemes, a videogram or a computer-generated presentation might be made available. The really important thing is your responsibility to familiarise yourself with familiarity. As in our earlier programme, we've tried to highlight some common Spisks. Once we're aware of these Spisks and the traps that lead us into them, we can avoid them by simply changing our job. Driving trains. Driving trains. Driving trains. If you have any comments on this programme or ideas for the future, please speak to your DSM. If we all share our edge, together we can try to eliminate Spisks. Spisks, 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 Spisks. Nice.